Good morning and welcome to AFBI Science Outlook Conference 2021. I am Dr. Elizabeth Magowan and I'm one of the 3 science directors in AFBI, and I am delighted that over 400 of our colleagues, friends, partners, customers can join us today for this exciting and stimulating conference, which I really hope you enjoy. AFBI's work is focused on 3 key areas. Firstly, leading improvements in the agri-food industry, then protecting animal, plant and human health, and thirdly, but by no means least, enhancing the natural and marine environments. Today, we will hear from AFBI's leading scientists and experts in these areas throughout the day. And I'd also like to draw your attention to our very recently launched Science Impacts Booklet for 2020. It's now available on the website, and again, between today's conference and this Impact Booklet, showcases the vast array of work that AFBI is conducting in conjunction with partners to deliver across those 3 areas of leading, protecting and enhancing. With regards to today, I'm also delighted that a number of our partner organisations will be joining us to both chair sessions and take part in the panel discussions. So I'm hoping that you really enjoy energetic discussion and certainly put up plenty of challenges to us throughout the day through the question and answer function on your YouTube screen there, hopefully. The presentations will start shortly, but I'd just like to overview what will happen throughout the day. So our first scientific session, which will start after our introductions from our chair, Mr. Colin Coffey, and a minister's welcome, we'll have our first scientific session, and that will focus on the interactions between animal and human health. And of course, that's aligned to our strategic area of work around protecting animal, plant and human health. Then in the afternoon, we'll move on to a second scientific session, which will focus on modelling and managing our ecosystems to drive future sustainability. And of course, that's aligned to our second strategic theme of science around enhancing the natural and marine environments. And then later on this afternoon, we will focus on the role of plants and their production in our food system. And of course, as I say, that is related to our third key theme of leading improvements in the agri-food industry. But with no further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Colin Coffey. Colin is the chair of our board of directors in AFBI. And I'm delighted that Colin is with us this morning to open the conference and get our proceedings underway. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this year's Outlook Conference. It is disappointing, but understandable that we cannot meet in person, but the virtual conference gives us the opportunity to accommodate a greater number of attendees. So far, we have over 400 people registered. All of you are very welcome. The last year has been one of great challenge for everyone, and AFBI was no exception. I would like to take this time to thank all the staff at AFBI for the way they have risen to the challenge, especially the staff at VSD and the role they have played in delivering COVID-19 tests throughout the pandemic. As all are aware, we're in a time of significant change in the world of agri-food due to the challenges of meeting our climate change obligations, plus the implications of Brexit and the need for profitability and sustainability in farming. These changes will impact the entire supply chain in some way, and working together is the only way we can lessen their impacts. AFBI is well placed to assist in finding solutions to the impact of these changes, with its wide-ranging scientific skill set and research base, giving a unique ability to look at all the issues from the various viewpoints to arrive at the optimum position for the agri-food sector. This means that AFBI plays and will play a critical role in supporting DAERA and other stakeholders in overcoming the changes that we all know will impact on the sector. AFBI will specifically assist DAERA in meeting the outcomes stated within the programme for government, and AFBI will play its part in meeting specific targets and outcomes that will be emanating from the Green Growth Initiative. Overcoming these challenges will require collaboration locally, nationally and internationally. I am pleased to say that AFBI has developed and continues to develop strong partnerships with many organisations, both in Ireland, GB and globally. Specifically, AFBI works with Queen's, University of Ulster and others to facilitate fundamental research. Then, through its own platforms, AFBI examines the effective applications of such research. But research is of no use unless it is utilised, so AFBI then works with Coffey and other key partners such as Agri-Search for the dissemination of such research to the wider agri-food sector. Today's Outlook Conference will give you an insight into some of AFBI's work. I'm pleased to say we have speakers both from AFBI and our partners, and I'm sure you will find all contributions challenging and informative. Finally, I would like to offer a special welcome to Minister Poots in his return to post after his recent illness. Thank you, Minister, for finding the time to address the conference this morning. Minister.
Thank you, Chair, and I'm delighted to open the AFBI Science Outlook Conference, an event now in its 4th year and becoming an integral part of AFBI's annual programme. It is, of course, a challenge to arrange such an event in the current climate, and I wish to say a word of thanks to all those involved in organising today. AFBI was created way back in 2006 and a lot has changed since then, but one constant throughout has been the importance of what is possible. The relevance of science and its impact on our lives has never been more visible than it has been in recent times. It is fundamental to the work of my department, and I recognise the strategic importance of science in addressing the economic, environmental and social challenges associated with growing and rebalancing the Northern Ireland economy. Science will be fundamental in helping us address the greatest strategic challenge facing us today, climate change, and the flexibility to grasp opportunities open to us outside the European Union. We have the opportunity to define policy which meets the challenge of our unique operating environment. We're freed from the constraints of the EU Common Agricultural Policy. Northern Ireland agriculture is largely based on the conversion of quality homegrown grass and mainly imported cereal grains and crop byproducts into milk, meat and other protein products. The annual farm gate value of our output is over 2 billion, and when it is processed it amounts to over £5 billion, and it's sufficient to meet the dietary protein requirements of 10 million adult equivalents. When you add this to the significant food processing sector and the fact the majority of what we produce and process is sold outside of Northern Ireland, you can begin to appreciate how important our agri-food industry is to our economy, disproportionate to the rest of the UK. The economies of our industry are important, but so too is the environment. Our air quality, water quality, biodiversity, soil health, our landscape are all heavily influenced by agriculture, and we have to accept that the influence of agriculture on the environment has not always been positive, but the important point is that it can be positive going forward. Sustainability must be at the heart of everything, with sustainable food production being every bit as important as a sustainable environment. We will only address our environmental challenges if agriculture and farmers are part of the solution. The UK government is committed to achieving net zero carbon by 2050, which means a radical change of context for our economy towards a more economically and environmentally sustainable model based on innovation, recognising the true value of the environment and the development of our people so that they can drive this new economy. My department is currently developing a green growth strategy in line with the government's commitment on behalf of the executive. It will provide a route map to ensure climate action, environmental improvement and sustainable economic and social growth to optimise our efforts and minimise the risk of unintended consequences. While the scope of this strategy will obviously be much wider than the agriculture sector, agriculture will have a key role to play. DAERA invests around 60 million per year in science services, which is approximately 1/4 of its annual budget, and is therefore of significant importance not just to the department, but to everyone in Northern Ireland. Green growth will present many complex challenges requiring innovative solutions. We know that we need to be better at generating and exploiting new ideas, improving processes and technologies, and finding new ways of doing things. We have to find more resilient and sustainable ways to produce food efficiently with a lower environmental footprint. Science and innovation are at the very heart of this challenge, and it is clear to me that our agri-food sector will continue to depend on the knowledge, skills and creativity of our local scientists when competing on a global scale. The need to improve production efficiency, resilience and animal health and welfare, among other challenges, will inevitably need science-led solutions. I recently approved the Department's Science Strategy Framework, which aims to ensure that science DAERA secures will be innovative, collaborative and transformative, and can support a healthy and sustainable economy, environment and rural community. The implementation of the Science Strategy Framework through Science Transformation Programme will involve the development and implementation of new science policies and operational strategies for R&D, monitoring and surveillance, science and innovation, and the development of fit-for-purpose infrastructure used by the DAERA family for the delivery of science services. The DAERA Innovation Strategy in particular will aim to stimulate our innate capability to innovate and direct it towards finding solutions to modern-day challenges. The Science Transformation Programme will drive us to optimise the value we get from research through encouraging more challenge-based, longer-term, collaborative and innovative approaches, as well as making better use of DAERA funding as leverage from other relevant funding streams. AFBI's provision of science research is vital for good evidence-based policy making and for the driving of technological advances that will underpin the future competitiveness of our industry. I think we are very fortunate here in Northern Ireland to have a body such as AFBI working closely with industry partners and other research institutions, and I'm glad that the department can be supportive of those collaborations, which will in turn bring benefits to agriculture and the environment. Today's conference is a great example of these collaborations, and I now look forward to hearing from today's speakers about the very interesting work they are conducting. Finally, thank you ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you find today enjoyable, rewarding and stimulating.
Well, thank you very much, Colin, for your warm welcome, and it's heartening to hear your kind words. And thank you to Minister Poots as well. It's really brilliant to have our Agriculture and Environment Minister advocating for science so strongly. And indeed, AFBI is a non-departmental public body with DAERA as our sponsor department. And as such, we do work very, very closely with DAERA. And a lot of the research that you'll hear from our AFBI colleagues today is indeed funded by DAERA. So it's wonderful, and thank you, Minister Poots, again for your kind words, for being such an advocate for science, which is very heartening, and indeed for setting out that strategic framework which we are all working to. And as Minister Poots has highlighted, a big part of that strategic framework is, of course, protecting our environment and addressing the climate change that's facing us.